Recently, a notable analysis in the National Football League brought forward a surprising claim about the 49ers. Not only was this assessment entirely off base, but it also overlooked at least four key aspects that will be addressed shortly. The claim in question was that the 49ers were being underestimated, with the analysis predicting that the Rams would occupy the top spot, followed by the Seahawks, the Cardinals, and lastly, the 49ers. The critic expressed discontent with what he observed from the 49ers, particularly the choices made during the draft. He argued that Kyle Shanahan made risky decisions, prioritizing immediate success at the expense of the future. While he didn't go so far as to suggest that the 49ers would be a 5-win team, he did claim that the Arizona Cardinals might secure between 10 and 11 victories. Let's dive into this in detail, as there are four major reasons why this analysis is profoundly mistaken. First and foremost, let's address the dissatisfaction with the decisions made by the 49ers. What exactly is there to criticize? The only reasonable complaint might be the departure of certain players, such as Deebo Samuel and Hyunga. That perspective is understandable, but the move involving Deebo Samuel seems justifiable in the long term. As for Hwanga, his departure also makes sense given that it was expected, and the 49ers have young talent ready to step into those roles. When it comes to Dre Greenlaw, I understand the concern as he was an important player, but we've discussed this issue before. Greenlaw expressed his desire to leave the team, so it's not entirely fair to blame the 49ers for that situation. They made an effort to keep him, but were unsuccessful. The next critique centers around dissatisfaction with the 49ers draft picks. This is a point that will be elaborated on shortly, as it's crucial. However, the way the critic framed the draft decisions as being Shanahan's initiative is somewhat baffling. How does this draft resemble a typical Shanahan draft? The first 5 selections were all defensive players. This statement doesn't hold water. Not only does it demonstrate a lack of understanding, but it also reveals a lack of proper research on the subject. In my opinion, this claim is utterly incoherent. It's hard to grasp that perspective, and it seems baseless. Suggesting that this draft was influenced by Shanahan, especially in a year where defensive players were prioritized, is a mistake. If there's a more plausible argument to be made, it would align more closely with Robert Saleh's vision rather than Shanahan's. As we look at the draft choices, it becomes increasingly clear. This entire context points to an important figure in the coaching world, and we can see his evident influence in this draft, especially with the selection of multiple defensive players. If one were to argue, it could be suggested that this draft is a reflection of a certain vision, at least in part. Now, as we analyze the later rounds of the draft, even when looking at the choices made, it's starting to become apparent that the team may have been targeting specific players. With that said, there is a logical basis for those decisions. However, the main point here is that there seems to be a devaluation of this draft class, and it's important to discuss 4 reasons why this analysis could be wrong. Let's address the first point. Clearly, this draft is being underrated. There's no contesting the positive outlook on it, and the insights that have emerged today throughout this discussion reinforce that. It's evident that there are varied opinions on this draft. There's a strong perception of error regarding its value, similar to what happens with certain analysts and organizations that use specific metrics to define success. From their perspective, the team seems to have taken a different approach, focusing on enhancing their roster with exceptional talent in the areas needed, and that's exactly what they accomplished. It's evident that it's a privilege when teams don't have to select based on immediate needs. This year's emphasis on those needs certainly influenced their strategy. Just yesterday, there was talk about teams regretting their decisions, especially allowing a prominent player to fall to a lower pick. Recently, several analysts have stated that they consider this player a strong contender for Defensive Rookie of the Year. This reflects a consensus among several prominent analysts, highlighting their recognition of the player's potential. While some appear to completely disregard the draft, there is a strong belief that this player is the frontrunner for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Many analysts are sharing this view, underlining the credibility of their assessments. However, there are differing opinions, as some seem critical of the direction of the draft, particularly with a key figure deeply involved in shaping this significant defensive selection process. It's hard to get on board with that viewpoint. What was said about another promising player? It was highlighted that this player is an intimidating presence, perfectly capturing the sentiment expressed when he was chosen. This athlete is indeed a formidable force along the defensive line. Additionally, other players were pointed out as potential gems from this draft. There's only positive feedback about certain individuals, alongside impressive impressions about others. The athleticism demonstrated by several players continues to impress with their metrics. Many believe the injuries that plagued another player are behind him, and he is expected to take on a pivotal role, potentially becoming a significant asset. The expectation surrounding this draft is palpable, and it's hard to understand the critical perspective. It seems that the evaluation might be off. Now let's focus on the current roster. We've already discussed the draft, which still carries uncertainties, but we can't underestimate the talent that's already on the team. Christian McCaffrey, before his injury last season, was considered the third best player in the National Football League. He's had time to recover and is back on the field, having spent last season preparing to return to form. This bodes well for McCaffrey, and I've mentioned this before, so I won't go into too much detail. Fred Warner was ranked as the 11th best player before last season, while George Kittle was ranked 14th. Nick Bosa occupied the 27th spot. Brock Purdy was at 28, and Brandon Ayuk was 66th. These positions illustrate the quality of the players already on the roster when we began the last season. If we set aside injuries, circumstances, and the coaching topic for a moment, we can appreciate the value of the players who were highlighted among the top 100 at the beginning of last season. Brandon Ayuk, for example, was ranked 28th, and Brandon Ayuk was ranked 66th. These are players who, at the start of the previous season, considering injuries and the situation, and disregarding the coaching aspect, we can say were among the top 100 players of that season. It's clear that we're not talking about players who have already left the team. Therefore, the 49ers still have a very strong roster. Is it perfect? Certainly not. Is it a Super Bowl caliber team? Not yet. At least not at this moment. They are definitely not a Super Bowl ready roster. There's still a lot to be done to get there. But how can one say that? If all these players return healthy, and if Trent Williams comes back in good condition, plus all these athletes being healthy, and Dominic Punch showing clear improvement at the right guard position, we have a veteran tackle who recently joined to replace a previous player. The 49ers are making moves. They are still in motion. I'm not saying the 49ers are perfect, but they've clearly made progress on the roster through the draft. The players who remain, like George Kittle and Brock Purdy, continue to be exceptional athletes. They are still able to adapt to the system effectively. So I don't understand how anyone could take this seriously. It seems that this person truly believes their own words. Or maybe they are just trying to provoke and grab attention. If that's the case, it seems to be working, as we're discussing it now. The 49ers have fully updated their coaching staff. They replaced the defensive coordinator and also made changes to the special teams coordinator. New professionals have come in to work on the defense. So the 49ers have undergone significant changes in their coaching staff. I believe this change, compared to the previous coach, was the most significant of the offseason. There was no mention or acknowledgement of this. I don't understand how anyone can think that the 49ers are at the bottom of the league. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a shocking turn of events that has sent ripples through the NFL community, star running back Christian McCaffrey is no longer a San Francisco 49er. The team confirmed today that McCaffrey is parting ways with the organization following a surprising negotiation that few saw coming. This abrupt move marks a significant shift for the 49ers offense and raises serious questions about the team's direction heading into the next season. McCaffrey, widely regarded as one of the most dynamic and versatile players in the league, was a key piece in San Francisco's offensive arsenal. His ability to contribute both in the ground game and as a receiving threat out of the backfield made him a nightmare for opposing defenses. After joining the 49ers, the 49ers in a high-profile trade from the Carolina Panthers, McCaffrey quickly became a fan favorite and an essential component of the team's playoff push. His chemistry with quarterback Brock Purdy and the rest of the offensive unit seemed to be peaking, making today's announcement even more startling. Details of the negotiation that led to his departure are still emerging, but sources close to the situation suggest that contract disagreements and long-term vision misalignments played a role. While neither McCaffrey nor the 49ers have issued full statements, insiders hint at differences over financial terms and usage expectations as key factors behind the split. The move leaves a significant hole in the 49ers offense and prompts speculation about how the team will adjust. Without McCaffrey, San Francisco loses not only a top-tier runner, but also a strategic weapon capable of changing the course of a game in a single play. His departure may signal broader changes within the organization, possibly reflecting a new philosophy or a shift in priorities ahead of the next NFL draft and free agency window. Fans and analysts alike are reeling from the news, with many questioning whether the 49ers can remain contenders without one of the league's most electrifying players. As McCaffrey's next destination remains unknown, one thing is certain: the NFL landscape just changed dramatically. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.